we're not getting jack squat done if we argue like this. Now, gentlemen, and lady, you have heard the proposition from Front Range Productions, and I, for one, am very much in favor of it. I sense from that outburst, though, there are some concerns. Let's go around one by one and see if we can't resolve these. Mr. Lefebvre, your thoughts?
6 words, Mr. Duncan. How much will this cost us?
As I understand it, not much. The Front Range Productions crew will work around our regular operations for the running shots. The only time they'll borrow employees is probably for the interviews, and I'm told that'll mostly be after hours. Am I correct, Chuck?
Completely correct, Mr. Duncan.
Any other questions?
Are you sure we really want to bring this kind of exposure to the railroad? I recall when Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society took their steam locomotive into Pennsylvania. All manner of stupidity and traffic violations ensued. I also remember Union Pacific having to issue an official photography policy after someone nearly got squished by their machine. We run these things daily. I don't think we need bad news on our name.
The idea behind this series is to raise awareness from what we do and how we do it. I've been having a difficult time selling seats on our excursions, and I reckon that if we can get the word out that our railroad and our unique motive power, the fact that they really exist, we'll be doing a gangbuster excursion service before you know it. That would be, in turn, well, it would increase our profits.
I will concede there is a lot of potential with the excursion services. But Mrs. McAllister raises a valid point about out-of-control railroad fanatics.
Look, if worst comes to worst, we can always hire a few more railroad police and enforce our property porters a little more strictly. Furthermore, I believe that making our story known could make for a good public relations tool.
I do agree. PR is a good thing.
So, any more questions? Comments? Very well. Let's put it to a vote. All those in favor of granting Front Range Productions access to our railroad for the purpose of filming and creating their television series, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Well, then it's unanimous. Gentlemen of the Front Range Productions, I officially welcome you to the Trinidad, Denver, and Western Railroad. Happy filming!
Well, thank you very much. We would like to get started as soon as possible.
Certainly. Is there any other business before the board this morning? Then this meeting of the board is adjourned. I'll see you folks next week. Or when I call the next meeting, whichever comes first.
So who should we see about getting the whole story of this railroad?
You'll probably want to talk to Lawrence Kaufman. He's the archivist around here. If he doesn't know something about our railroad, it never happened. Just so you know, though, he's a little bit, odd. And that's saying something coming from me.
And that, gentlemen, is why this is the Trinidad, Denver, and Western Railroad, not the Trinidad, Denver, and Western Canal. Now, where was I? Oh, yes, the results of the company's experiment with roller skating news butchers on commuter trains. In short, it was a failure. The reason being...
Well, that's all very interesting, Mr. Kaufman, but we're looking to find out about the beginnings of this railroad. As in, when it was founded, who was the first president, how it was built.
Oh, yes. Sorry about that. I went off on a tangent there. Let's see. The early days of the TD&W. Our railroad sprang from rumors of incredible mineral wealth in the eastern Rocky Mountains. The man that got us on track, so to speak, was Zechariah Malachi. Malachi was an immigrant who had worked on the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad and later managed a section gang on the new Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad. He saw potential for a railroad connecting the Santa Fe with the mines of the Rockies. In 1889, he received backing from several investors and founded the Trinidad Northern Railroad Company. 3 second-hand steam locomotives were acquired from a railroad in Arkansas called the Ozark Northern. These were the Benjamin Franklin, the David Turner, and the Elijah McCoy. Being from the same railroad, they knew each other well, but being taken from the wild and woolly Ozark Mountains to the desert-like grasslands of Colorado was a difficult change for them, to say the least.
I still don't believe it.
Don't believe what?
We left the Ozarks in the spring, and by the looks of things, we've traveled clean through summer and autumn. Everything is brown.
I don't know, Ben. I'm getting this funny feeling that around these parts, that's what the grass is supposed to look like. I have no idea why in heavens that would be, but it seems that way.
What confuses me is the topography. To the west, it's Ozarks on top of Ozarks. To the east, it looks like a child's sand pit. I don't get it.
None of us do.
They soon settled in, though. Construction progressed slower than had been anticipated. In spite of that, within 6 months, the railroad had connected several small towns and was covering its operating expenses. It took a good deal of time to finally reach the first mine. This mine wasn't turning out gold or silver, as had been rumored, but some strange yellow mineral, the only known use for which was glass coloring. This was when the board of the Trinidad Northern chose to look at a different northern terminus for the railroad. Plans were made to connect to the Denver and Rio Grande somewhere in central Colorado, but it didn't take long for both companies to realize they were competing for much of the same traffic, and the happy cooperation between the two quickly disintegrated into a bitter rivalry.
Hey, you! Yes, you! You from Denver? You know what they say about the ones from Denver? Their tracks a mile in the air and their heads are wedged a mile up there.
You get the idea. By that time, we had acquired our fourth locomotive, a large 440, the John Henry. Eventually, our main line reached Monument, Colorado, still without a northward goal. Or so it seemed.
Ah, excellent. The Baldwin Company seems to have done us well. This is a sign of progress, me friends. This cutting-edge locomotive technology we see before us.
Why, thank you.
Ah, yes, me friends. Progress. Northward we go, stronger we become.
With all due respect, sir, northward to where?
All in good time, me dear boy. All in due time. No, if you'll excuse me, I'm not feeling so good. Good day to you.
He's been saying that since we finished the first 10 miles out of Trinidad.
He knows what he's doing. Mark my words.
What do you know? You haven't even learned what classification flags mean yet.
I've got a good sense about people. You watch, he'll lead this railroad to be one of the greatest railroad companies in the world.
Unfortunately, Mr. Malachi did not live to see his project railroad reach its full potential. He passed away suddenly one evening, which left his biggest backer, a Mr. Woodrow Duncan, in control of the railroad. Mr. Duncan chose to extend the railroad northwards to Denver. Construction continued slowly, but eventually our track gangs completed the main line. Once the work trains had everything ready, we ran our first long-distance passenger train from Trinidad to Denver in the spring of 1896. When it arrived in Denver, the city gave the train a warm welcome.
Mr. Duncan, on behalf of the people of Denver, I welcome you and the Trinidad Northern Railway to our fair city. We would also like to present to you this key to the city. Today, Denver is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Citizens of Denver, on behalf of the Trinidad Northern Railroad Company, I thank you for this fine welcome, and I pledge that we will give our all in serving this community reliably and with diligence. Ours is a land of great opportunity, from the great cattle ranches of the Front Range to the mines in the Rockies. This is a part of our country which is truly blessed. With the completion of this railroad network, people and goods can be moved faster than ever throughout the region. This increases many-fold the opportunities available to the common man. The cattle rancher who at one time had to drive his cattle to market at great risk to life and property can now have his stock moved by train safely and quickly. The ores from the mines, which required dozens upon dozens of wagons to move, can all be moved by one single train. Gentlemen, the possibilities are as vast as God himself will have.
Initial freight and passenger services began shortly thereafter. We acquired 2 small locomotives to work the yards at the ends of our railroad, numbers 5 and 6, the Carson City and the William Mason, respectively. Things began to run pretty smoothly. It soon became apparent, however, that Elijah McCoy was barely able to cope with the increased passenger traffic. An order was placed with the Rogers Locomotive Works for a high-stepping passenger engine. Borrowing on an Illinois Central design, Rogers delivered locomotive number 7 during the summer of 1896.
Well, we're halfway home. Who do we have here? Is that John? No. He was in Denver when I left. Benjamin? No. He doesn't put that much smoke out even on a bad day. Then who?
Clear the way! Clear the way! I've got a time to keep!
What in tarnation was that?
His name was Bradley, and it didn't take long for him to gain a reputation as a hotshot. For a young railroad, he was just what we needed. To our Elijah McCoy, however, the new locomotive was competition for the premier passenger trains, and was as welcome as a faulty staybolt.
So this is what you look like.
Huh? What of it?
I just wanted to be sure I knew what you look like, so I could tell the engineers how to put you back together when you derail.
Derail? Me? Ha! You're full of clinkers. You see how I'm built? I'm a 10-wheeler, 460. I am the most stable design of steam locomotive ever conceived.
That won't mean a thing when your engineer's side gets spread across half the front range.
You're one to talk. Look at you. 2 bad locomotive designs jerry-rigged together. I bet you can't even get over 40 without knocking a rail over.
Oh, I can get over 40. I can go a lot faster than that, too. Faster than you, I'd wager.
Really? I'll take that wager. You're gonna regret this one, friend.
It was decided that the 2 locomotives would do a time trial race to determine who was faster. Each locomotive was given 2 passenger cars. They would run the last 10 miles of the railroad into Trinidad with timekeepers aboard to keep count of the train's speed and total time. Bradley went out on the road first. Now, strict orders were given that safety was to be the crew's first concern on these runs, and these orders were promptly ignored.
Oh, come on! We can do better than this!
Riding behind the engines were men keeping a close eye on their watches while another man called out the mileposts they passed. Just outside of Trinidad, the timekeepers recorded what was then the fastest speed achieved by a train in Colorado. Bradley ran 1 mile in just under 40 seconds, running in excess of 90 miles per hour.
Whew. How did we do?
We'll go back over our numbers and check our arithmetic to be sure. But we believe you broke 90 miles an hour there.
Huh?
Psh, 90? That's nothing.
Well, let's see you do better.
Just watch me, youngster.
Elijah had never run that sort of speed before, but he was bent on showing the 10-wheeler who was boss. He headed out to the same spot Bradley started at, the timekeepers got ready, and he started south. What happened next was a controversy for decades, but Elijah's crew gave us this account.
How fast are we going?
I don't know. I'm just trying to keep it on the rails. Oh Lord, Bob!
Oh mercy, I'm going underground. Ow! Wait, I'm back on the rails.
Oh, thanks be to God.
Come on, let's get moving.
Take it easy. I'll get you moving as fast as I can.
Elijah got back up to speed relatively quickly, but his times were beyond recovery. He planned on trying again after he got to Trinidad. However, someone else had other ideas.
If you think you were brought here to play poker with our tracks and equipment, you have got another thing coming. I've got a good mind to send you back to Rogers. But... There's the ringleader! He started all this! You hush. Wait here. Anything wrong?
Oh, we hit the fence post or something at speed and it derailed the lead wheel. Then it derailed itself on a switch. Looks like it banged up the tire. I don't want to know what it did to that switch. Just don't tell the bossman about,
You were saying? What were you doing when you hit whatever it is you hit?
We were doing a timed run to see what speed Elijah McCoy here runs.
I see. No wagers on the side, I take it?
No, none at all. None at all.
I've already talked to the number 7. That's a lie. I'm surprised at you. All of you! We are trying to establish ourselves as a reliable and trustworthy railroad in this region, and you go off and get in some massive contest trying to figure out who has the bigger boiler.
But sir,
I don't want excuses. Elijah, Bradley, you're both off the passenger trains until you both straighten out your smoke boxes. Maybe working the mine turns will work some sense into you all.
Now, as harsh as Mr. Duncan may have been with the 2 passenger locomotives, he knew that they had the spunk the railroad would need to take on its next stage of construction. Mr. Duncan had a railroad running parallel to the Rocky Mountains, but he wanted to cross them. He set his sights on a wagon trail that had been built across a gap in the mountains, known as Rollins Pass.
Rollins Pass? Heard of that place. There's nothing up there but a dirt trail, I thought.
That's all that's up there today, but at the turn of the 20th century, it was a very different story. It is a story which, I'm afraid I do not have the time for today, gentlemen. But come back soon, and I will explain the TD&W's connection to Rollins Pass, or the lack thereof.
Would tomorrow morning work for you?
Work for what? Meet here tomorrow morning. No, I'm afraid that will not do. I need to make some arrangements, and I will call you to let you know when and where I can meet you.
Well, alright. We'll wait for your call.
We'll see you around, Mr. Kaufman.
Good day, gentlemen.